You have come between me and Daniel.
Oh, no.
I've never met Daniel.
He's very generous and is very protective, and we have where we're kissing and we're fighting at the same time, and it's like a tango of love.
But I decided he would be my husband, and then he decided on you. So I'm going to forgive you.
Daniel Craig being thirsted over by female celebrities. Daniel Rawton Craig is one of the hottest actors in Hollywood. Mr. 007 has the perfect body and a beautiful pair of eyes which are irresistible to women, especially the Hollywood female celebrities who crush over him all the time. Now, if you are wondering which celebrities have a crush on Daniel Craig, you have come to the perfect video, as today we will be showing you which female celebrities cannot resist him and are all over the place for Mr. Bond. So, without further ado, let's get into it. 1. Léa Seydoux. Léa Seydoux says she was a fan of the man who plays James Bond long before she got cast as the leading lady inspector. I was a huge fan, says Seydoux, of co-star Daniel Craig. How can you resist Daniel? He is so sexy.
I mean, he's great in this character. He's amazing, so yeah, I would love it.
The French actress, 30, played Madeleine Swann, a psychiatrist and daughter of an assassin in the Bond film. Seydoux said she was aiming to play a strong character, a Bond girl you can remember. Seydoux adds that the secret to seducing Craig was to be mysterious and to not give everything away about yourself from the start. You have to stay guarded.
I mean, I love him. And what else?
That's not magic tips, that's all
No,
right.
I love Daniel. I love him, and I'm so happy to be back.
2. Billie Eilish. The 20-year-old Grammy-winning singer was hired along with brother Phineas to write and perform the Oscar-nominated theme song for Daniel's final outing as James Bond in last year's hugely successful blockbuster No Time to Die. Billie opened up on her attraction to the British actor during an appearance on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and when asked if she was nervous to meet the handsome star, she nodded in agreement. It's James Bond. He's a DILF.
Great. And you got to meet with Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
Were you nervous when you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Bond.
Yeah, he's James Bond.
He's James Bond.
And...
He's a DILF.
He is a DILF.
She cheekily quipped, calling Daniel the rude acronym used to describe a hot older man that stands for Dad, I'd like to fuck. Host Seth also spoke of his attraction to the Knives Out star, stating that it was weird he also had a crush on Daniel. Talking about Craig's eyes, she said, "You literally would not believe them. They look crazy. When I first met him, I was like, whoa." Now, did you know that Daniel Craig stands at a very average 5 foot 10 inches? It's just that every other James Bond was so tall. Sean Connery set the bar high, no pun intended, standing at an estimated 6'2". Roger Moore was 6'1". Timothy Dalton is also 6'1", and Pierce Brosnan is just under 6'1". Luckily, the height discrepancy didn't make a difference, as Craig still showcases incredible physical talent.
You would not believe them. Like, they look crazy.
They're crazy.
When I met him, I was like, whoa. Like, they're like, it feels like they're here on him. Like, this is his face and these are his eyes.
Exactly.
3. Ana de Armas. There were rumors about Ana de Armas and Daniel Craig dating, but they were all reported as fake. Nevertheless, the Knives Out star has a huge crush on Mr. Bond. She has always talked about him in a high regard. It's just his personality which is so charming, she said in an interview. Talking about how funny Daniel is, she said that what makes the character more special is, and maybe people don't perceive him that way, it's how funny Daniel is and how he has this sense of humor and his charisma that makes him create a character that's very relatable and real.
How funny Daniel is, and he has this sense of humor and this charisma that makes him create a character that's very relatable and real.
Now, do you know that while playing James Bond may seem like a career high for many, it wasn't for Daniel Craig. In fact, he was openly hostile about the idea. Producer Barbara Broccoli desperately wanted Craig for the role, and she told Vanity Fair, as quoted by The Guardian, there was a period of trying to woo him.
Makes the character more special is, and maybe people don't perceive him that way, it's...
4. Monica Bellucci. Now, Nick isn't the only one to have an obsession with Mr. Bond, as Daniel Craig's co-star Inspector admitted in an interview that she finds Craig hot, and it's hard to resist him. She said, "Intimate scenes are always a bit difficult, especially because you're working with maybe someone that you don't know. But with Daniel, it was easy, because Daniel first was so sexy." She added, "Daniel, then, it is such a gentleman, as a James Bond, and also as a person."
With maybe someone that you don't know, but with Daniel it was easy, because Daniel, first of all, is so sexy. Makes all easy.
And we had a big supervisor, Sam Mendes, and Summit comes from theater, so he knows actors. He respects actors.
And we had a big supervisor, Sam Mendes, and Sam, he comes from theater, so he knows actors, he respects actors.
Now, one of the neatest things about Craig playing Bond is that he is the first Bond actor to be born after the series began. The Bond franchise officially began with Dr. No in 1962. George Lazenby, perhaps the most underrated Bond, was born in 1939, Roger Moore in 1927, Timothy Dalton in 1946, Pierce Brosnan in 1953, and Craig in 1958.
And sometimes you have to get intimate with someone that you don't know, but with Daniel is such a gentleman as a James Bond and also as a person.
5. Anne Hathaway. The Catwoman also cannot resist the handsomeness of Daniel Craig. In an interview on the Chelsea Lately Show, she said she was stunned to see how beautiful Craig was and how she felt when she looked at him at a party. Daniel Craig walks in and there's not too many people there. I'm like, oh my God, there's Daniel Craig. This is amazing. He's just so beautiful.
Not too many people there. I'm like, oh my God, there's Daniel Craig. This is amazing. He's just so beautiful. And all of a sudden he looks up and looks right at me. And I'm like, and then he goes, hey, you. You. And I'm like, and in my mind, this is how I retrofit the logic. Of course, I'm like, you.
Working with Daniel was such a great experience. First, because I love him as a human being. He's extremely charming and funny, and I love him.
And then he goes, you. And I was like, you.
And yeah, imperfections, and that's, I think, why the audience can really relate to him, because he's more human in a way.
And he's just like, you. And I go, oh, I can't hear you. Want me to turn it up? Now, it's important to mention that we're across the room from each other, so all this is being done.
I'm looking forward to working with Daniel again, because this is my second film with him. We just finished shooting together like 3 months ago, so it's nice to be back together.
I got to really play with these characters, and I love Bond. I've always loved Bond, and particularly Daniel, so it still feels very surreal to me, but it was an amazing experience.
So guys, this is it for today's video. And if you enjoyed it, then please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss a video from our channel.